Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today, I don't know if you can quite see it, but I've got my little TBR duology trilogy trolley, something like that. Basically, it's all of like the completed series that I have not read yet, and I am ashamed to admit it, but it's the truth. I have a lot of books that I haven't read, and these are all, majority of them are completed series, or they're a series that I only have a couple of, but I'm pretty sure that the series is completed, so I just need to buy the rest. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly go through this shelf with you and see if you find some books that you might be interested in, and just have a reminder of all the books that I need to read, because there's a lot on here and it's been a while since I've looked through them all. So I also want to decide what books to read next. I don't know which one to pick. Yeah, maybe you guys could help me decide in the comments. So we're just going to go through the books that I've got on here and just see what we've got. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please hit the like button, comment down below if you do like these types of videos. Yeah, if you want to subscribe, that would make me really happy. That'd be cool, super cool. And if you hit the notification bell when you do subscribe, you'll be notified of any time I post a video. Yes, so I think that is everything. So yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so I just moved the camera around and I think this might be better. So you can actually see my TBR shelf. There is a third shelf down at the bottom. Yeah, and these are all books that I have not read. Please don't judge me. Yeah, let's just dive in. The majority of these are fantasy series, but I do have a few of... Nope, they're all fantasy series. Yeah, I think they're all fantasy series. So if you like fantasy, this video is going to be for you. So the first trilogy I have is the Poppy War trilogy. It's by R.F. Kuang, and I've heard incredible things, and I'm pretty sure this is this next series I'm going to read. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is going to be this. So yeah, I've got the Poppy War, the Dragon Republic, and the Burning God. Finally, I picked that one up quite recently. This one is like an absolute book talk favourite, so I do think this may be my next series to read. Yeah, but we shall see. What do you guys think? Should I read the Poppy War next? Next to that, I then have Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth, and that is Carve the Mark and the Fates Divide fantasy duology. So it says, Kyra and Akos grew up in enemy countries on a vibrant yet divided planet. Syra's ability to transfer extraordinary pain with a simple touch makes her a dangerous weapon for her tyrannical brother. When Akos is kidnapped and forced to serve Syra, it's clear that their hatred is mutual. But as Akos fights for his survival, he recognises that Syra is also fighting for hers, and that her true gift, resilience, might be what saves them both. Their world is on the brink of political chaos, and Akos and Syra must decide if they will fight for what's right, even if it means betraying their families and countries. It just sounds really interesting, and this is actually gifted to me. I should have the... It was gifted for my birthday from Christine, her dad, which she's just the most lovely girl in the world, and she's bought quite a few books for me. Yes, Carve the Mark. I have yet to read it, and I really, really want to. I then have the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. Now, this trilogy was the first lot of Brandon Sanderson books that I got, and this was actually gifted to me as well. So yes, I do need to read this as well, but I have been putting it off a little bit just because it intimidates me. That's pretty much it. There's no other reason why. I just find it slightly intimidating, just because of the size of it and because it's very well known, and I don't want to be disappointed, and I know I won't. I'm gonna love it. But yeah, it would be interesting to finally read this and see like what the hype is about Brandon Sanderson, and see if I love him and his writing as much as everyone else seems to. So yes, I had the Mistborn trilogy. Very excited to read that. Then moving on to the second shelf. Okay, I then have A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kamara, and there are 3 books in this trilogy. There's A Curse So Dark and Lonely, A Heart So Fierce and Broken, and A Vow So Bold and Deadly. I'm extremely excited to read this. It is a YA fantasy series about royalty, and I will read the synopsis for you. Prince Ren, the heir to Emberfall, is cursed. Forced to repeat the autumn of his 18th year over and over, he can only be freed if a girl truly falls for him, and after so many failures, his kingdom and its people are barely holding on. Harper's life has never been easy, but she's learned to be tough enough to survive the streets of Washington, D.C. When she is sucked into Rem's world, nothing is as it seems. Powerful forces are standing against Emberfall, and it will take more than a broken curse to save it from utter ruin. It sounds really interesting. This is all over BookTok, this trilogy, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. Yeah. just a really nice YA fantasy that I think I'm going to really enjoy. I'm sorry, I got my hair cut and it's so poofy and I'm not used to it, so I'm sorry if I keep messing with it. I then got a duology, and it is, this is the second. This is the first. So this is All the Stars and Teeth, and then is All the Tides of Fate. This is a pirate fantasy duology, and there was someone that I follow on BookTok who she said this was her absolute favourite series like ever. So obviously I put it on my wish list, and again George spoilt me and bought both of these for me and surprised me with them. So I'm extremely grateful and I'm extremely excited to read these. I haven't read that many pirate books. I read To Kill a Kingdom and I absolutely loved that. I haven't really read many pirate books, so I think this will be good fun. I then treated myself, and I went into Waterstones one day. I treated myself to Spin the Dawn and Unravel the Dusk. This is, I don't know if it's fantasy. It kind of seems like YA, maybe perhaps it's like an urban fantasy, YA historical fantasy, perhaps. So I will read the synopsis of this just because I'm not quite sure what genre to put it into. So Spin the Dawn is the first in the duology. So it says, on the fringes of the Great Spice Road, Maya Tamarin dreams of becoming the greatest tailor in the land. But as a girl, the best she can hope for is to marry well. Then a royal messenger summons her ailing father to court, and Maya seizes her chance. Disguised as a man, she travels to the summer palace in her father's place to compete for the emperor's favour and the coveted position of imperial tailor. If Maya's ruse is discovered, her life will be forfeit. But if she wins, she will achieve her greatest dream. Yet nothing could have prepared her for the challenge ahead. To sew 3 magic gowns for the emperor's bride-to-be. Okay, so it's got fantasy elements. 1 from the laughter of the sun, 1 from the tears of the moon, and 1 from the blood of stars. Accompanied by the mysterious court enchanter, whose piercing eyes seem to see straight through her disguise. Maya's journey will take her to the far reaches of the kingdom, seeking the sun, the moon, and the stars, and finding more than she could ever imagine. Doesn't that sound really interesting? And I just, again, look at the cover. Like, look at the cover. They're so beautiful. I'm just so excited to read these. Spin the Dawn. Makes sense. So yes, I do have those two and I'm extremely excited to read them. I then have the City of Brass trilogy. I forgot the word then. This is by S.A. Chakraborty. So there is the City of Brass, the Empire of Gold. Let me just scooch this over. There we go. We got the Empire of Gold there and the Kingdom of Copper. I'm pretty sure that's the order. So yeah, the Empire of Gold and the Kingdom of Copper. This is a fantasy. It's not YA. I'm pretty sure it's an adult fantasy. So it says, in the markets of 18th century Cairo, thieves, tricksters, con artists, and outcasts eke out a living, swindling rich nobles and foreign invaders alike. But alongside this new world, the old stories linger, tales of jinn and spirits, of cities hidden among the swirling sands of the desert, full of enchantment, desire, and riches, where magic pours down every street, hanging in the air like dust. Many wish their lives could be filled with wonder, but not Nari. She knows the trades she uses to get by are just tricks and sleights of hand. There's nothing magical about her. She only wishes to one day leave Cairo, but as the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. I'm so excited to read this, and I have heard fantastic things about this series, both on BookTok and BookTube, so I know it's going to be good. So yes, I'm pretty sure this is an adult fantasy as well, not YA. We're getting somewhere, people. So we're on the bottom shelf of one side of the bottom shelf. The first of the bottom shelf that I have is The Bear and Nightingale by Catherine Arden. This is a trilogy, and it is there's The Bear and the Nightingale, there is The Girl in the Tower, and The Winter of the Witch. Yeah, so I have all 3 of these. I'll read it. I'll read the synopsis for you because it sounds really interesting, and a lot of people this is their absolute favourite fantasy series. So it says, beware the evil in the woods. In a village at the edge of the wilderness of northern Russia, where the winds blow cold and the snow falls many months of the year, an elderly servant tells stories of sorcery, folklore, and the Winter King to the children of the family. Tales of old magic frowned upon by the church. But for the young wild Vasya, these are far more than just stories. She alone can see the house spirits that guard her home and sense the growing forces of dark magic in the woods. It just sounds really fantastic and magical, and I'm just so excited to read it. But just being in Russia and snowy, I kind of want to hold off reading this until the winter. Is anyone else like that? they save books until like it's the right time to read them. I don't know. So I might hold off reading that just yet, but I really want to read it. I then have the 5th season trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. So there is the 5th season, there is the Obelisk Gate and the Stone Sky, and this is an adult fantasy that everyone is like talking about. There's someone who I followed on BookTok. Yeah, he said that he very rarely gives out 5 stars, but he gave this one a 5-star, which instantly, as soon as he said that, I bought the whole trilogy. So it says, this is the way the world ends for the last time. It starts with the great red rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with a murdered son and a missing daughter. It starts with betrayal and long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land long familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon and where there is no mercy. So yes, an adult fantasy trilogy that is epic and people absolutely rave about it. So it is called the Broken Earth trilogy. So very excited to read those. I can't wait. I then have a very popular series to read, and that is the Folk of the Air trilogy by Holly Black. So there is The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing. Yeah, I really need to read this. This and The Poppy War is like up there with the next books that I read. And I feel like this might be a nice quick read as well, just because they're quite small books in comparison to The Poppy War. So yes, a classic YA fantasy that I have yet to read, but I really need to. So yes, and now the last 2 books on the bottom of this side of the shelf is The Strange the Dreamer duology by Laini Taylor. There is Strange the Dreamer, and then there is Muse of Nightmares, and these covers are just beautiful, so gorgeous. So yes, I do really need to read these. It's about a land called Weep, if I remember correctly. So it says, the dream chooses the dreamer. Since he was 5 years old, Laszlo Strange has been obsessed with the mythical lost city of Weep, but it will take someone bolder than he to go in search of it. Then a stunning opportunity presents itself, in the person of a hero called the Godslayer and a band of legendary warriors, and he has to seize his chance or lose his dream forever. What happened in Weep to cut it off from the world? What did the Godslayer slay that went by the name of God? And what is the mysterious problem he now seeks help in solving? The answers await in Weep, but so do many more mysteries, including the blue-skinned goddess who visits Laszlo's dreams. I saw this book a lot on BookTok, but I also know that this is Books with Chloe's like favourite series. Like, it's up there with her favourite books, I do know that, which made me really want to buy it. So yes, that is one side of the shelf done. However, there are 2 sides. Yeah, let's just dive in. So first off, I have the Raybearer series, possible duology, maybe trilogy, who knows? I think it's a duology, but how beautiful. It took me so long to realise that there's a face in it, because I always just saw the lions. Like, I never saw the face, and there's the crocodiles? How freaking cool are those covers? I actually follow Jordan Ifueko on TikTok, and she is so freaking funny. Yes, this one is a duology, I just remembered. Yes, I'll read the synopsis because it sounds amazing. Tirasai has always longed for the warmth of her family. She was raised in isolation by her mysterious, cunning, and often absent mother, known only as the Lady. When Tarasay comes of age, the Lady sends her to the capital of the global empire of Artisar to be chosen as one of the Crown Prince's Council of 11. If she's picked, she'll be joined with the other council members through the Ray, a bond deeper than blood. But the Lady has other ideas, including a magical wish that Tarasay is compelled to obey. Kill the Crown Prince once she gains his trust. It sounds so cool. So yes, I can't wait to read these, and I think this is another series that is like on the top of my want to read pile. I want to read all of these books, but it's going to take some time, you know? So yes, I do have those. I then have, I've only seen this once. I've seen this once on BookTok, so I went and bought the full trilogy. Well, actually no, my parents bought me it for Christmas. So this is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. This is a big high fantasy epic with a map. Who doesn't love a good map? So we've got The Shadow of What Was Lost, we've got An Echo of Things to Come, the blue one, and then The Light of All That Falls, and it is just a big high fantasy epic, and the covers are incredible. Look at that. So I'm so excited to read these. And then last on the top shelf is Nevernight by J. Kristoff, is it? Yes, J. Kristoff. So we have Nevernight, God's Grave and Dark Dawn. Again, I haven't read a single one of these books yet. I very much plan to, but I have yet to get to them. But I love the covers. Mia Kavir is only 10 years old when she's given her first lesson in death. Destined to destroy empires, the child raised in shadows made a promise on the day she lost everything, to avenge herself on those that shattered her world. But the chance to strike against such powerful enemies will be fleeting, and Mia must become a weapon without equal. Before she seeks vengeance, she must seek training among the infamous assassins of the Red Church of Atreia. Inside the church's halls, Mia must prove herself against the deadliest of opponents and survive the tutelage of murderers, liars, and demons at the heart of a murder cult. The church is no ordinary school, but Mia is no ordinary student. It sounds so interesting and I cannot wait to read it. Yeah, so I've got that trilogy. And then, for some reason, I have book 3 of the Jade City trilogy. I had the last in the series, but I don't have any others. It was on the buy one get one half off table of Waterstones, and I knew that I wanted to read this series, so I was like, well, I'm gonna have to grab it, but I don't have the first 2 yet. So there is Jade City and Jade War, but I just don't own them yet. I've just got the 3rd in the series, so I will be getting those eventually, but yeah, I only have the last one at the minute. So I don't want to read the synopsis because I don't want to spoil it, but it is again another fantasy trilogy, and people are raving about this at the minute on Book Talk. Like, everyone's going on about it, so I do need to get the first 2. But yeah, Jade Legacy, and it's by Fonda Lee, so I'm looking forward to getting that eventually. I then have, I had to move these around so I could get the books at the back, but I have the A Discovery of Witches trilogy by Deborah Harkness. So I've got Discovery of Witches, and then it is The Book of Life, and then Shadow of Night. So this is also a very popular TV show, I believe. I haven't even watched that, but I will obviously read the books before I watch that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this. There was, again, someone I follow on Book Talk who absolutely raved about this series, so I feel like I need to read it. But I kind of want to wait until Halloween time to read this trilogy, maybe? I don't know, I've got so many horrors that I want to read during Halloween time, but I do have A Discovery of Witches, so I'm very much looking forward to reading that. I did take some off the second shelf, but it is We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars by Hafsa Fazal, and I'm pretty sure this is a duology, and I do have one of the first like older copy and then the second and the newer copy, which is a shame, but I kind of like it because they're both blue, so I can stack them together, and they do blue to black. So they kind of look nice together, but 2 different versions of the series. So it says, people live because she killed. Zafira is the hunter forced to disguise herself as a man. She braves the cursed forest to feed her people. People died because he lived. Nazir is the infamous Prince of Death, assassinating those foolish enough to defy his autocratic father, the Sultan. Both are legends in the kingdom of Arawiya, but neither wants to be. Both are embarking on a quest to return magic to their kingdom, but as their journey unfolds, an ancient evil begins to stir. It just sounds like a really fantastic fantasy series, and it is a YA fantasy duology, this one. Very much looking forward to reading these. Now onto the bottom shelf, I have 4 series left to talk about. I have, again by Holly Black, I have the, what's it called, a Modern Fairy Tale box set. So I've got Tithe, Valiant, and Ironside. These were in the works for, I think it was like £6 or something for a box set. I can't get the books out. Yeah, but that's what they look like. They're really nice. But I haven't heard anyone really talk about these that much. I don't know if they're very good or not, but I do have them to read because it was a really good deal at the works, and I'm gonna buy them. Especially because I saw the author Holly Black, and I know she's very popular. So I figured I was gonna have to get it. So yes, I have that series to read. This was the series that I was mixing up with the Jordan Ifueko series as to whether it had finished or not, and I remembered that this hasn't finished. So this is the Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi, and then there is also Children of Virtue and Vengeance. These covers are beautiful, and I also managed to get the Waterstones exclusive sprayed edges, so I was very happy about that. It's so beautiful, although why they went for the blue, like I know there's a little bit of blue here, but like go for the nice like bronzy, like orange, did I say bronze? Go for brorange. But how nice would the orange have looked? Like with the red and orange, like why'd they go blue? I don't know. Anyway, says, they killed my mother, they took our magic and they tried to bury us, now we rise. Oh, there's a map there. I've never seen that before. How long have I had this book? Zeli Adebola remembers when the soil of Arisha hummed with magic. Burners ignited flames, tiders beckoned waves, and Zeli's Reaper mother summoned forth souls. But everything changed the night magic disappeared. Under the orders of a ruthless king, Magi were killed, leaving Zeli without a mother and her people without hope. Now Zeli has one chance to bring back magic and strike against the monarchy. With the help of a rogue princess, Zeli must outwit and outrun the crown prince, who is hell-bent on eradicating magic for good. Danger lurks in Arisha, where snow leopards prowl. Vengeful spirits wait in the waters. Yet the greatest danger may be Zeli herself, as she struggles to control her powers and her growing feelings for an enemy. Oh, enemies to lovers! We love to see it. Yeah, so I do need to read that, but I'm gonna hold off until the series is complete because I hate starting a series that isn't complete. I have no patience. I then managed to pick up the Young Elites. I think this is a dystopian. Is this not a dystopian or is it a fantasy? I was hoping I had a different genre then, but I think they are all fantasy. Yeah, by Mary Lou, I got the Young Elites trilogy. It's a little bit beat up, but 99p each, I'm not going to complain, and I haven't read them, so I am tired of being used, hurt and cast aside. Adelina Amutaru is a survivor of the blood fever, marked by a jagged scar where her left eye once was, branded as a malfetto, an abomination. She is cast out from all she's ever known and loved. Adelina finds sanctuary with other malfettos and discovers that the disease has left her with more than just a scar. She has a mysterious and powerful gift. She is a young elite. But Adelina's ability is stronger than any young elite before her, and unless she can control the vengeful darkness growing in her heart, Adelina could be a danger to them all. This is a very popular YA fantasy series, but I think it's been out for a very long time, so I think it's kind of one of those series that I missed when I wasn't reading when I was younger. So it'll be fun to read it, but I don't know if I'm going to absolutely love it. It may be a little bit too young for me. Not to say that it's not a good book, just for me personally. Yes, so I have that trilogy, and then last but certainly not least, my legs are going so numb. Okay, I have the Scythe trilogy by Neil Shusterman. This is a dystopian. This is the only dystopian I have, and I will get Scythe. I will get it out. This is a dystopian about kids who are like reapers, I think. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how numb my legs are. Okay, I'm gonna sit like this. Let me just scooch on over. Thou shalt kill. What if death was the only thing left to control? In a perfect world, the only way to die is to be gleaned by a professional scythe. When Citra and Rowan are close to being apprentice scythes, they know they have no option but to learn the art of killing. However, the terrifying responsibility of choosing their victims is just the start. Corruption is the order of the day, and Citra and Rowan need to stick together to fight it. Then they are told that one of them will have to glean the other. Yeah. And I've heard fantastic things about it. So there is Scythe, and then there is Thunderhead and the Toll. So that's it. That is all of the books that I have on my TBR duology trilogy trolley. And I haven't read a single book on this list. It is what it is. I am extremely excited to read all of them, but yeah, I have not touched a single one yet. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you may have found some books that you may want to read, and who knows, we could read them together if I ever get to actually reading them and don't just end up getting library books out, which I seem to be doing at the minute. But yes, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I very much look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Alright, bye guys.